Hey there, when you first start Cubase or you open a new project, you get the Steinberg hub, and this has been with us for quite a few versions. We've got lots of awesome videos on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, we've got our folders and our templates. And all the way over in More, we can select an empty project, which is generally how most of us will be starting a new project in Cubase. Now, when you do this, the default setting is to use the default location. So in this video, I want to give you a little bit of information on the two options that you have there. Now, when you select the default on a Mac, it's going to put it in the music folder, and then it's going to put it in Cubase projects. Now, this is German efficient awesomeness, unless you're not German and efficiently awesome, because every time you start a new project in Cubase, it's going to be called untitled with a number after it. And unless you go in and rename that folder, you are going to be left with 5,000 untitled folders in your Cubase project folder. It's a mouthful, and it's definitely not going to win you a World Cup. So my first tip, if you're going to use a default location setting, is definitely go in and name the folder as soon as you create it. Let's take a look at option number 2, which is my personal preference. I'm creating a new project again. I've got the Steinberg hub. This time I'm going to select prompt for project location and hit create. Now I can choose where this folder is going to be stored. So I can select a subfolder, then create new folder, and now I can name this folder straight away, which instantly removes all of that untitled mess that I had before. And as soon as I hit create, it's created a new folder in which all of my Cubase project files are going to be stored. The next thing I'm going to do, and you should always do this when you create a new or empty project, is save it as a name. Even if you don't know the name of the track, call it Song 1 or Idea 1, or come up with your own personal system, which you're going to use every time. I'm just going to add an audio file via the Media Bay into the project area and create a track. And now let's go back and take a look at that folder that we created when we set our own folder location. You can see now that there's a number of folders and a project file. So the audio folder now contains that audio sample that I dragged in, and you can see that's also there under images. And then below that, I've got the this year project file. And then below that, I've got track pictures, which I basically never use, but that may come in handy if you've got track pictures. Now, here's a project that I've spent a lot of time working on, and you can see the project file and a number of backup files. So yeah, Cubase automatically backs up your file every so often, and you can set that. Under my audio files, you can see that I've got a number of audio files that I've recorded into the actual project itself. So very different to your run-of-the-mill word processor, where you get one file per project or per document, I guess. Just to give you some context, all of those audio files that I showed you before are here in the pool window for that project. So you can see the file name on the left-hand side, you can see the tempo that it was recorded in, you can see the algorithm that we use to pitch shift and tempo change, and then a whole lot of information off to the right. And over the very far right, you can see the path, and that path is basically the path that we set when we first created this new empty project and created that folder. So this is why Cubase needs to have a number of subfolders for every project that we're working on. There's so many different things going on inside a DAW, and Cubase has got this really neat way of organizing them all in a highly functional and organized manner. Back in the good old days, when we were all cowboys riding horses, you would have to save your project as often as you could think of it, because systems were so unstable, you'd experience crashes nearly all the time. These days, thanks to the operating system gods or development gods, most DAWs have an auto-save function. In Cubase, this is in the preferences under General, and you can see that auto-save interval. I don't tend to lose much with it set to 15 minutes, maybe because I'm often trying different things in between recordings or edits, but if your system is particularly unstable, then try setting that to a lower interval. And now every 3 minutes, because that's what we've just set it to, Cubase will auto-save the project, and all the work that I've done up to that save point will then be saved as a backup in that project folder. Cubase often creates folders as you go. For example, if I want to mix this idea down, I can basically set my left and right locator point, and then I can go up to File, Export, Audio Mixdown, and I can very quickly specify that I want a single bounce using the stereo output. My name's set up there, and you can see the path is automatically set. Now it's a matter of hitting Export Audio, and Cubase will very quickly render or bounce down a mix of this work that I'm doing in the project. Now when I go back to my project folder, Cubase has automatically created a Mixdown folder which houses that render or bounce that I have just exported out of Cubase. So very organized again, and great workflow. If you want to back up an entire project folder, then you can go to File, and just below that export feature or function that we used before, you've got the backup project selection. So select that, and now we can choose where we want to store it. Of course, I'm not going to back up a project folder into the previous project folder. So I'm going back out into my master project, and I'm giving it a name that makes sense. So a version name, this year version 1.1 backup, and I'm giving it a date. Now Cubase is going to back up that entire project with all of the project files, all of the audio files, all of those folders, and all of the information that's housed inside of those folders. I can also select a number of different backup options just by ticking these boxes, and you can go through those at your own pace. Once you've finished, hit OK, and Cubase will take a moment to back everything up and put it in a new project folder. A couple of other important things are the ability to save a project as a new version, and when you do that, you don't get the option to rename it. Instead, Cubase automatically adds a number after the name and creates a new project file. You can also save as, and this is really important if you make some really obvious changes, but you want to retain the previous changes in the previous project. So when you hit save as, you do get the option to rename your project file, and that will be stored again inside that folder. Now you can see my original project file, you can see the save as new version with the number, and you can also see the save as file that I have created. You can see all of the audio, all of the edits. Now there's an edit folder as well, which shows all of the edits that I've done in my project. And of course you've got images and the Mixdown folder. Let's answer one last YouTube question in this video. How do I remove files that I'm not using in my project? Well, I'm deleting this sample that I dragged over before, but if I go to my pool window, you can see that it's still there. I've got 4 audio files. Now I could do it manually from the pool window by dragging it into the trash, but if you've got a lot of files that you want to delete because you're not using them, go to the media menu and remove unused media. Now, if you go back to the pool window, you'll notice that your files are gone. Make sure you really want them gone before you delete them. Thanks for taking the time to stop by and check out this video. Give us the thumbs up if you've learned something, and subscribe to the Cubase YouTube channel for plenty more videos just like this. I'll see you there.